in 5,
4,
3,
2,
1.
That couch? That's like a homeless person's nightmare.
Huck it.
It's the Gnar Couch Podshow. Full sense stupidity from head to toe.
Gnar Couch is the gnarliest.
We're bumping that shuttle like it's baby making time.
The Gnar Couch Podcast is for people of scum.
Four riders, dust clouds rise.
What's up?
Stunting under Utah skies.
Couch Crushers. Let me weave, dude. You remember the weave?
Oh, yeah, I remember the weave.
We used to do the weave all the time.
That's right.
It's the $1 million podcast that we have right now.
The $1 million podcast.
If we had $1 for every view in the past 30 days, we'd have $1 million.
That was a good weave right there.
That I didn't mean to do. What a crazy couple weeks it's been.
I know, right, dude? So you got some killer articles going on there too, dude.
Yeah, people love the articles. You know what's crazy about that is Facebook. I thought Facebook was dead.
Doesn't make any sense.
We've had more views on Facebook and more interaction on Facebook than we have anywhere else.
That's where they all hang out.
But I have a theory.
I have one too.
We're boomers. So why not?
I was going to say it triggers the boomers.
Well, it's just kind of funny because you guys are the only ones that notice I don't even have a Facebook anymore. So you got these numbers on Facebook, so I'm like, yeah, that's where all the old people are, I guess.
648,000 views on Facebook in the last 30 days.
You're going to see an article of somebody fusing polyester to their skin and being like, oh, what's that?
Is that real? No way.
I think that's what I need.
I like the one guy on there. He was like, that's not Jackson Goldstone. It's just some shitty AI image.
Yeah, no shit. It's nobody, actually.
Not even a real person. As people have noticed, he doesn't even have testicles.
Oh, the guy
People
with the
have
skin
noticed.
suit.
They did. I saw that.
They have noticed.
I thought you meant Jackson.
They could be
I don't
taped
know.
well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has testicles, large ones.
I mean, they could be taped well to where it doesn't look like it in a skin suit.
Do you ever do that in racing?
You would sit on it.
I think Sam Hill must have.
I think so.
Or Danny Hart.
The original skin suiters.
Yeah.
What sports do they actually do that in? There has to be some.
Tape their junk up?
Yeah, there has to be some.
Speed skating, figure skating. Maybe not figure skating. Maybe they
You still
accentuate
got to sit
it.
on your junk.
Yeah.
Think about your sit bones and sitting on your nutsack if you tape it back between your cheeks. You don't want to do that.
Sitting on your nuts reminds me of a story of my mother, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
Yeah, let's not
go there.
Well,
she's still your mother in my eyes, Rob.
She was.
I hope all these wife stories are not about his mom.
No.
I'm intrigued, but I don't want to hear the connection.
I'll tell it an hour. It's not dirty at all, but I'll tell it an hour or two for the Patreon.
I love that. Thank you for saving that. It is the Gnar Couch Pod Show. Sitting across from me, the guy with the ball taping story about his mother is Bobston Ross.
Chief does have that wily gaze.
Sitting to my left, a handsome, tall man wearing a gun on his shirt. That is JP.
He just takes it that thick.
And one of the angriest people I've ever met in my entire life, and somehow hasn't killed all of us. There's Jimmy Sniper.
The secret to having clean deuces is a tablespoon of chia seeds a day.
And my name is Chief.
I'd be laying on my back with my bum up in the air.
Why would I have said that?
I don't know.
Weird. Makes me happy that you did.
I didn't tell you guys, my neighbor was recently filmed with his bum up in the air, more or less.
Wait, what?
By a drone?
No, by my other neighbor.
Oh,
serious?
Yeah.
Did your other neighbor show you?
He showed me the video.
It was like, look at what so-and-so's doing.
So we have a block party because I have a very old school neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, I like
and
that.
that was the highlight of my block party.
Really?
My neighbor Max is like, bro, check this out.
Did it get back to the original neighbor that was sunning his taint?
He lives across the street from me and 2 houses up. And I'm not surprised. I'll tell you more off the air.
Right. He was just trying to generate some vitamin D.
Yeah, well, there was vitamin D out there for sure. Check our website. I thought I'd get a laugh out of that. but I got nothing.
Sorry.
Everyone was not paying attention. And Jimmy doesn't laugh. So
Sorry, I was just seeing Jay Prizzle said chat isn't fucked up enough yet. Come.
Let's keep getting it
Chief
that way.
Queef closest to the camera tonight. Bold move for a dude with a face for radio.
You can
Throwing
find us
jabs.
online, narcouch.com/store. Visit our web store. Everyone's wearing a different shirt tonight. JP's got the squeeze triggers on. Jimmy's got the huck to flat. You have the Stay Chuff Misdemeanor Man. And I have the Shuttles and Cuddles shirt. You can get them all in T-shirts. You can also get them in the variant of sweatshirt. And I guess we're having an issue with payment right now.
Yeah,
I'll fix when I get home.
A buddy of mine texted me last night and said that only PayPal was there. So if you have PayPal, you can buy a shirt. But for some reason, like regular credit cards aren't working right now.
Huh, that's weird.
I wonder what's wrong with our credit cards.
I think we have bad credit.
Credit cards.
We have such bad credit, we don't even take them.
Have we thought about adding Klarna and the other stuff, like buy a hoodie and 6 payments?
You can finance a shirt
6 payments. Well, PayPal, it's funny you mentioned that because since PayPal is on there, one of the buttons is PayPal Pay in 4. So there actually is like a Klarna thing there.
Rob would know that.
Well, I only did it because like when my buddy texted me and said that it wasn't working, I went to the website immediately and looked.
You can call our text line. We call it the Oral Connections line. You can call it or text it anytime, 385-626-6231. We'll have some of those coming up later in the show, an hour or two. And always join our Zoom room. We have a Zoom room going every single Wednesday night. You can say whatever you want to say in the Zoom room, and believe me, people do. And if you want to get all of the show, including the second hour, our Patreon is only $4.20 a month, and you can get that at patreon.com/narcouch. And I put another old podcast up today. That was, or was it yesterday? It must have been yesterday. Yeah. And I don't even remember which one I put up. I'm a dad of a young child, so I don't know what's going on in my life ever. Do you guys remember what it was?
I don't.
No, but I remember getting the alert. I could find out real
See,
quick.
the three of you at least have excuses. I'm just like, no, I don't remember.
I'm just a pothead.
I wish that was my problem.
Tonight's guest is Jerrell Webster. I met him originally like last spring, and he's just a super rad dude. He was very stoked to learn that I was 46 and doing backflips, and that made him pretty happy. He's like, that's fucking awesome, man. And so we just kind of got chit-chatting. And if ever there was an approachable guy in mountain biking right now, this dude is it. I absolutely love him. We'll get to talking to him in just a little bit. We got Jimmy's Baiku coming up tonight. We'll read another article, this one about the skin-tight outfits that we've seen at the World Cup. And we've got some comments of the week that I want to get to before we do anything else.
Oh, boy.
I'm just going to read these without context. Greg Etta looks like she's straining out a steamer. That's from Jeremiah Johnson. What kind of dude bro drivel is this BS? That's from Nick Junkersfeld. People who pedal their bikes cannot be trusted. That's not what a bicycle is for. That's from Dinosaurus Rex. And you hate pedophiles. Do you still support BLM? Easy to find how many organizers were arrested for child porn or child abuse. Sadly, quite a lot. Trump worked with the FBI to arrest Epstein, known long before Speaker Johnson. Okay, and it just goes on and on. Now we have political debates going on our Facebook because that's where the boomers are.
Right? I was gonna say I might actually get on now. Sounds enjoyable.
I didn't even read all of it. I couldn't believe it broke out, but it did. Well, of all places.
It's fucking Dino, so of course.
No, that wasn't Dino. That was from Carrie Gonzalez.
Oh, okay.
It was never ending.
Wow.
Carrie Gonzalez needs to go touch grass.
And I saved
the grassy knoll is what he's going to touch.
I saved all of the actually funny ones for when we read the narticle, because that's when they all come into play.
The narticle.
Just responses from people who either think it's real or don't think, or they think that that's actually a picture of Jackson Goldstone. Yeah, it's...
Do you say Goldstone or Goldstone?
Well, is he Jewish?
Nah, he's not. His dad was a trail builder.
Okay, sure likes gold.
But he's also fast, so that...
And athletic.
Yeah.
Super skinny.
Definitely not. Well,
he's a little guy.
He's a twink like Chief.
Yeah, he's definitely got a twinkly body. Jerrell doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Jerrell's an athletic motherfucker.
Chief's been looking at his body.
I can't help but notice that I think he would be good at any sport.
Dude,
he does.
I like at watching his videos and then.
You got me, man. You got me.
See? Well, I think that because who can ride for only 4 years and has the bag of tricks that you have and the
dude,
ability?
It's incredible.
Stupid.
I'm disgusted.
Football, basketball, track, baseball.
Hell yeah.
You were like a total jock, and now you're this free ride bum. That's an interesting transfer. How does that happen?
I mean, it was funny though, because like I really wasn't like, yeah, I was like, captain, basketball team, blah 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 blah. But at the same time, I also rode downhill skateboards at the same time.
Oh, sick!
So I was kind of like in this little crew of like just 3 or 4 of us, pretty much, who were just like downhill skateboard kids who were just shredding. So yeah, I mean, it was like basketball practice, the gym, and then riding longboards, and then kind of gave that up come like senior year, and kind of in between there, I slowed down junior year and kind of like stopped my senior year, as it looked like I, might end up playing like college sports and stuff, which I ended up not. But at the time, it was like couldn't risk crashing at 55 all the time, which would happen all the time.
As a downside of it.
Sounds like a
it just got, I got annoying going to basketball practice the next day with, just your arms and hips and stuff all shredded and you're sweating and it's burning. And yeah, it's kind of hard to shoot free throws that way,
Yeah, but I think like if you're covered in blood and scabs, maybe the other team will be less likely to foul you.
No, I got fouled a lot, man. It's funny. I still, 2 of my co-captains, they have been like going through our old footage and they were just sending a bunch of game footage over and they're like, dude, how did this happen? And it was like I was just getting absolutely annihilated, fouled over and over and over, and none of them were getting called. Like it was so funny. He made a little like compilation of them and it was pretty brutal to look back at. But yeah, no, they fouled me wide a bit, man.
That's kind of crazy that you were in such traditional sports and then something drew you out of that. And I wonder what it is that would draw you away from. Was it just that you graduated and then?
No. Yeah, I mean, so the organized sports was just like, associated with scholarships and stuff. So, you kind of just like stick to that. But I've definitely always been a bit more drawn to action sports. But then, yeah, as I got older, or really, I guess, like after high school, I still played a little bit like men's league and stuff with my friends. But eventually, like playing that is when I saw like other people are just a variable that I didn't like to have in my fun. So like, whether it's like your teammate not showing up, not, letting you down, whether he's there and letting you down or he's not there and letting you down, or, other teams and players who are just like dirty players and stuff who have no business being on the court, undercutting you and so on and so forth. It was just that variable that I didn't like. So longboarding was fun, but then it also had the variable of like, I could stay in my lane, but the amount of times that I had cars that were not anywhere in their lane, that, again, it's like, okay, I'm calculating for like me staying in my lane and being, a good moving vehicle, I guess, on the road. But again, it doesn't mean that the person coming home from work, zooming around a corner at 50 miles an hour on a 25 mile an hour zone is not going to be in my lane, So eventually enough close calls with that kind of stuff that I was like, okay. And so I gave that one up. But then later on, I found bikes and I was like, whoa, brakes, like suspension, holy shit, like what? And then I just realized, it's just me, the bike and the terrain. Like it's pretty rare that the people are the problem out on the trail. Bike park's a little bit different, but at the same time, like you can predict where people might be. But again, a whole lot less common that, other people are the problem. And then when they are, it's like, you're choosing who you're riding with, you're choosing who's in front of you and who's behind you, so on and so forth. And yeah, I think it was just taking that variable of other people out of it and just making it individualistic, but still being able to do it with other people.
Nice.
That's what I've been drawn to. And I feel like I get a lot of, I played at a very high level for basketball and football, but basketball mainly. I went to nationals multiple times and for AAU. And, again, those guys who I was playing with, I am like out of school, 2:30, straight to playing basketball with them from like 3 to 6. And then we're lifting weights and then we're hanging out and eating dinner together and then probably staying a night and probably going to school from his house. And we're doing the same thing over and over and over. And we're just grinding. That builds a brotherhood. And then when it comes to like going to nationals and stuff and you're playing against, I have quite a few friends who went to the NBA. I was playing against a whole lot of guys who are in the NBA right now. When you're playing those level games, the camaraderie is insane. Everybody, it's like you're going to war. If you're grinding like that every day and then you're in these games, like you are going to war. And I love that you can get that same kind of vibe with biking, but it's on everybody's own terms and chill. It's like, all right, let's rip this resi ramp right here. And like, you're going to try to get whatever you're trying to get today. And I'm trying to get whatever I'm trying to get today. Or like, let's go ride this trail. I'm like, okay, you're just trying to gap this and I'm trying to gap that. I love how you can just do it at your own pace, but everybody gets to kind of fight their own little battles and have fun doing it. There's no like stress behind it. So I think that drew me into it, and I think that when you ride, you're riding gnarly stuff, that you're riding with other people. Again, it's like you're going to war just to ride this trail. But it's like, it's not really viewed like that, but you get that same kind of camaraderie that you get from like high level organized sports, but on everybody's own pace. And then again, if you're putting somebody in front of you, you're trusting them with your life on some trails and they're trusting you, with their life. And if you're in front of them on some of these trails, some of these features, if you don't hit it or you stop on it, or you don't make it, blah, 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 both you guys could get very, very hurt. So I think that, I really like how this sport allows for relationships to grow really quickly. Because again, when you do some of these really gnarly things with other people, you can become very close very quickly. And you can really see the true colors of people very fast. So yeah, I like that. There's not a whole lot of egotistic people in this sport because you get humbled really quick. That's another thing. When it comes to organized sports, every sport out there is just all egos. Yep. And that just got annoying to me, man. When it comes to sport, it's very rare that you come across those. There's a few out there, and those are typically pretty well-known people. People know who those people are, but it's pretty uncommon. I'd say, the majority are not those kind of people because, again, anybody could, clip a pedal and just completely wad themselves in an instant. So it keeps people pretty humble in the sport.
Yeah, I totally relate with that. So, what, Jimmy? Jimmy.
I just raised my hand.
He just pedal clipped and got an injury that he can't recover from.
Oh, did he?
Months. Yeah, and he's a good rider.
Yeah. So was it?
Yeah.
So first of all, you're from New Hampshire. Is that what I saw in your bio?
Yeah. So I was born in New York, but I moved to New Hampshire when I was like 5 or 6, and moved a lot. I think I moved like 14 times before I turned 17.
Damn.
Yeah. So, mainly New Hampshire. Nice. But, quite a few times, with the parents, and then the parents split, and then it was like, back and forth, and one parent would move, another one would move, and another one would move, and
what was
kind of bouncing around.
What were you recruited for?
Yeah.
Was it basketball?
Yeah, basketball. Yeah.
Nice. How was Woolly Fest for you?
Man, such a bummer. So I had so much fun. And I was just really stoked to be with all the boys and the girls. I have made so many new friends, over the last few years, and some of them I've met, down in Costa Rica or in Chile, or, you name it, all over. and it was cool because I got to, come back together with a lot of those friends. And also I have, quite a few who I spent a lot of time with over the summertime who ran it. So yeah, basically, the whole Hesh crew, you have Talus and McNulty and Torsen, and the list goes on and on. There's just a whole big gang of guys who down in the desert kind of brought me into their crib whenever I was down there. They're like, hey, come hang out, come ride, so on and so forth. And so I ended up spending a lot of time with those guys over the summer, and then they put on this incredible event. So, it was really cool to go meet up with them, and then all of the other friends who I've made from all these other events and like Zinc Fest, stuff like that. Actually, Janelle, it was cool to see you guys had Janelle on last. And so I actually originally met Janelle down in Costa Rica.
Oh.
And I think she was like 17 at the time. And she came down with quite a few other Groms, and some of them like the Y East Academy and stuff. And like right away we were like, Jerrell, yo, what's up? So yeah, and it was cool. Like, we're checking things off and, at that, down on that course down there. And just like right away, I was like, this is a cool one. Like, I'm like, keep pushing. Like, there's so few women in it. Like the women who are really pushing are going to get paid back before you know it. And, here she is in Rampage, this year. So it's cool to see that come into fruition so quickly.
Yep.
But yeah, Woolly Fest, it was great for that aspect of meeting up with everybody and watching everybody ride. But yeah, unfortunately for me on day 2, I was coming into the road gap. I was actually behind Dan Howe, another one that Janelle was mentioning, Aiden Howe. And yeah, I was coming behind Aiden, and I saw him kind of cruising, and I was like, all right, cool. I took a little bitch crank, and I was like, all right, I should be good to just kind of like chill this thing. And I did not realize that it was like just how slightly downhill it was. And, I thought it was like pretty flat, but it was definitely a little downhill. And I thought that I could just kind of give it a little bitch crank and cruise it. Nah, I should have definitely still popped and came up short, completely 50-50, this 55-foot road gap. Went like 52 feet. Yeah, my headset's destroyed. I have yet to really dive into if anything else is broken. But yeah, I know at the very least my headset's destroyed because it's crunching and it's a bit more sloped out than it was before, shellacked out. But yeah, unfortunately, like at first I was like, damn, like I just ate that. And everybody was like, dude, how did you do that? Like, like, dude, anybody else who was smaller and not as strong, like would have just collapsed and like blew up. But like I just put it all into the bike and rode it out, and kind of like, when you like ride it and you're going to crash, you're like, okay, wait. And then like did shit the right time. So like I barely even got scratched. Like I think, yeah, I don't have any scratches, any more. Like it was just a burn, actually, just like a little burn. Had no scratches, but my foot unfortunately just collapsed on the on that case pad. And yeah, it definitely was not happy about it. I had broke it, I think probably 8-9 months ago. So like once it kind of wore off, the adrenaline wore off, I was able to tell, like, damn it, I knew. But fortunately, I was able to start rehabbing right away because I already had carbon insoles in my shoes. So yeah, basically, the doc was like, hey man, after the first time, like, hey, yeah, you need surgery, but we're never going to recommend it for you, considering what you're doing and the level that you're doing it at. You're going to break it again, and you're going to break it again. They said, we'll go for surgery when you're done breaking it. So for now, basically, yeah, it's just, I have to just run carbon insoles, take it easy. And yeah, she's like, you're the best judge of pain, and you're the best judge of when you're injured and when it just hurts, and yeah, I feel like something that any high level mountain biker or any mountain biker who's been doing it for a long time knows. Like, when you're hurt and when you're injured. Mm-hmm. And that was the thing is, after it wore off, I could tell, I'm like, damn, like I'm injured, and I can ride through injury and I can ride through being hurt, but riding through injury is just going to make me have to wait longer in the long run.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really hard decision to make because I definitely like could have rode, but I couldn't. Like it was broken, and if just like if I had slipped a pedal, which was very possible, it was happening all the time for people because again they were humongous features. That would have been so excruciating and would have destroyed my foot. So I got very lucky. It's one of those things that you learn from it, but yeah, I had to make the decision to not proceed. I could hardly walk, and that's the biggest thing for me is I have to walk because I'll ride through anything on my bike, but it's when you try to like do normal day-to-day activities and you can't, that's when you're like, it's broken. Everything feels a lot better on a bike, especially with some squishy EXT suspension on it. But at the end of the day, when you can't walk on it, that's how you know. So yeah, that was a tough one. But I'm definitely looking forward to next year, and I'm gonna pop next time.
Nice.
That won't happen. But yeah, man, it was a good time, and it was cool getting up to the PNW. I did get to ride Galbraith. We rode the Mohawk Trail, I think it was called.
Nice.
That was rad. Again, I did unfortunately have like a 700-pound spring on my bike for best series line. So that was a little brutal. And I had, oh my gosh, who did I have behind me? Oh my gosh. Matteo Inguiz. Yeah. Ex World Cup racer was behind me. And on this new like gambler, and I just hear him shrouping. I'm like, dude, go. Like, go. Because every time I hit a braking bump, I'm just about flying off my bike, But yeah, that was a good time. Man. I definitely had fun. Bummed I didn't get to do my thing out there on that course, but again, I'll be back out there. There's no doubt there, and I might even get up there, before that next event, just because again, all the boys are up there, and we'll be coming back for Rampage. Some of those guys will come back for Rampage, coming back to the Des. But I plan to try to get up there maybe a little bit earlier next year, help out with the digging and whatnot. Because man, that's a tall task, and I know they had a lot of guys who had said that we're going to come and didn't come. Help dig, and so yeah, I know Talus and Hayden and a bunch of the guys were just Matt Bagg, I'm pretty sure it's down there for a while. Like very small group of guys were doing a lot of work. Every one of those features, man, you cannot tell how big they are on the camera, but when you see it in person, it's incredible what kind of work went into building that course.
That ramp looked ridiculous, and also, by the way,
that ramp was ridiculous.
I love that you differentiate. You had the differentiation between injured and hurt.
Yeah. Oh, we're hurt all the time, man. Come on. I don't remember the last time I wasn't hurt. Like, crucial. I came into the sport hurt. Like, that was like another thing that I've kind of found over time. Doing that job, I was working in basements, man. And, some of those basements were like 5 foot tall, working on 300-pound tanks and stuff, that I was like bending over my knee, and I'm 6'5" in a 5 foot tall basement. You can imagine, like,
holy shit,
definitely some pains that built up over time, but I didn't, you don't know, you don't really realize it. So I came into the sport, and like, I just didn't know how, like, I'm like pretty damn flexible, but like, then there's other parts of me that are like really immobile, and I like have kind of found over time. But yeah, and just more and more I keep finding it. But yeah, I came into the sport injured. So like injury was not a thing for me, or hurt, I should say. And so like being hurt wasn't a thing. That was like a lot of the reason as to why I progressed so quickly. I had no fear of like getting hurt. Cause I was just so like the pain that I had put myself through was like worse, like scratches and scrapes and stuff, bruises were like whatever. Compared to, again, just many years of like beating up your body, doing things that you didn't necessarily love, so to do something that I found I loved and had a passion for, I didn't care about getting hurt. but yeah, coming into the sport, knowing how to fall from longboarding was a huge one too. Yeah, I recommend to everyone that comes into the sport that they learn how to fall and you wear pads. Nikolai Rogatkin is like one of my best friends and mentors. And, he early on instilled upon me like, hey man, always ready to send. I'd be like, are we just going for a cruise? You putting your pads on and stuff? And he's like, bro, always ready to send. And so that's something I've kind of lived by. Since then, now it's like when I'm riding the e-bike and stuff here, I typically would go kind of no pads, half shell, which, was something I didn't used to do. But now after being out here and riding exposure and stuff so often, it's something that I've kind of done as like a cross training. And that one I actually picked up from like one of my other best friends, Reed Boggs. So, a lot of times I'd pop out with Boggsy and like, I forget my e-bike or something, or I didn't bring it. And then he'd like, let's go ride the e-bikes. And I'm like, you putting pads on? He's like, no, bro. And like, we drop under some stuff that like, normally I would probably put pads on, but now again, after being out here for quite some time, it's kind of acted as like a cross training where, if it's kind of like wheels down, tires down kind of stuff, but gnarly ridgeliney stuff, okay, cool. Well, at least like it's pretty predictable versus like being up in the air, you can get wind blown and you can crash and it's not really your fault. That's why, like, that's the stuff where like, I want pads on. But yeah, lately, I've just kind of been cruising on the e-bike, padless, always a helmet, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I've kind of been using it as like a cross training because it will desensitize me a bit from some things that are like pretty gnarly. So that then when I go ride like the really gnarly stuff, I'm like, okay, let's get it,
Yep. I've seen like a lot of people like just not wearing any pads.
Yeah, padless.
Yeah, man.
It's like a new thing.
I mean, it's crazy. It's not a new thing, but it is. I feel like a lot of that is coming from. It seems that mountain biking is becoming a bit more accepted from the BMX community, and more BMX is coming into mountain biking. And I think a lot of that BMX padless mentality is coming into mountain biking. So it's like it's a blessing that they wear a helmet at least. But yeah, man, I've seen a lot of guys coming in, from the BMX side of things that like don't wear pads. And I've also seen a lot of them who come in not wearing pads and then quickly realize, hey, man, these jumps are 3 times bigger. You need pads.
Yeah.
The crashes are 3 times crazier. But, some of them don't. Some of them still don't. And I'm like, damn, props to you. But yeah, man, I wear them, especially like a chest protector, man. It's crazy to me how many people I see who don't have them. And they're like, oh, dude, they're restrictive. I don't know. If you find one that fits you, it's not. And then I got to the point where like, I just don't like not having one on. I can't even think about not having one on, when it comes to like doing the gnarly stuff. But yeah, again, I recommend everybody wears pads. Like you should have a full face helmet. You should have a chest protector. You should have knee pads. I recommend shin pads because it's just, I tell people I want to ride. I want to keep riding. You take a gnarly shinner, dude, and you might have to call it. Like, that's dumb. If you had pads on, you could take 18 shinners and it doesn't matter. So, I'd wear shin pads. If depending on what you're doing, I heavily recommend wearing ankle braces. I always try to tell people, I'm like, they're like, oh, no, they're going to make my ankles weak. Like, dude, you're not wearing them when you're working out. You're not wearing them day to day. You're not wearing them for this, and that, just when you ride, because you're asking your body to do things that are not normal things. Like if you're jumping off a 20-foot drop, that is not a normal requirement for your ankles to hold on.
Just want to be clear.
Right? Like,
I've never called it because of a shinner. Okay. Just gonna throw that
out. Oh, bro. Man.
Be over there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, man. BMX is not welcoming mountain bikes. It's the other way around. Mountain biking community is finally like, okay, you children can come and play.
No, I'm just saying the BMX community, like, I feel like it's like, dude, there's just these stereotypes within the BMX community where like they would just not be cool towards each other if like they wanted to go hop on a mountain bike, They're like, just like, dude, what are you doing, dude? Like, ride your BMX bike? Why are you going to go ride a mountain? You know, I feel like within their own community,
I remember
it's
even,
more like accepted that they're cool.
Yeah, in the skate community, Lizard King got a bunch of gruff from his sponsors for riding mountain bikes because he got all into riding downhill mountain bikes, and they're like, dude, you're supposed to be a skater. We're selling shit because you skate, not because you ride mountain bikes.
Fucking Lizard King. The first time I met him after he bought a 4Runner, and he had a sticker on his rear window that said "Melt your dick off."
Oh, what? What's a sticker?
A sticker.
A sticker. Is that new clothing brand, Sticka?
Sticker.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, I think you're right. That does seem to be more of the BMX mentality coming in, but you see a lot more BMX influence in mountain biking now, so it makes sense.
Sure,
the gym,
man, for sure.
That wasn't even like a thing 10 years ago.
It's like the skate park mentality, you know, where you sit there and you're wondering if you're cool enough, if so-and-so can say this or that. Oh, I'm not going to go hit that yet. Everybody's watching. It's kind of...
But I don't get that vibe if I'm like at I Street or something like that.
No, if you're at a chill place.
Yeah, it's supportive. I mean, there are like a few people here and there who they don't talk as much, and I don't know what the reason is, and
probably weird.
Maybe I'm just an asshole.
I mean, you got to remember too, man, when it comes to this sport, I feel like so many of us are just like heavy ADHD kind of people, and like might not be the most social, and like are the most social when they're on bikes. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, like a lot of people, you know, I know some of the guys you're talking about on I Street who are just like a little bit more quiet. But like, yeah, I think at the end of the day, they just like to go out there and quiet their mind from riding. So some days like they're talkative, and some days they're just like riding. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I Street, man, that's a pretty incredible place. You know, the community over there is insane. I feel like everybody's really accepting. At the end of the day, as long as you're throwing water on the lips, I think they're going to like you. It's really that simple. Like it blows my mind how many times I've showed up there. Like I've only gone probably 5 times now, maybe 6 times. But it blows my mind. Like every time I go, there'll be like, you know, between like 5-10 people and no water on anything. And it just blows my mind that, I mean, I'm the guy who I'll show up and I'll see 5 guys riding the little front step up there and it's dry, and I'll just walk over and just start watering it, you know? And I won't even say anything, you know, I just kind of set the precedent, like, guys, like we have flowing water here. We have water cans, like water the lips, and, you know, and I hope that they don't know, but I know that they do know. But I don't think they really understand that, like, hey man, like this lip will last people riding it all week if you just water it every time, but it might last like 2 days, maybe, if you don't throw water on it, you know, but they don't get it because they're not putting the shovels on it. And, you know, that's the thing is like, I wish that I was able to get up there more and put more shovels on things, you know, but it's a 2-hour plus drive. And every time I'm getting there, it's like pretty much now, you know?
Right.
But yeah, you know, I think at the end of the day, if you're putting water on things and whatnot, and you're helping out there, they don't care how good of a rider you are. They just want to see that you're, you know, a positive influence on the community, and on the environment. And again, all it takes is just watering a couple lips, man.
When you were kind of drifting away from basketball, were there any like coaches or parents or anyone like that who kind of gave you a hard time about it and said, what were you doing, Jerrell? Like, this over here.
I mean, yes and no. Like at the end of the day, it was like, so when it came to the college thing, you know, I didn't get like full ride scholarships and stuff, you know. I got some significant help, but still not enough to make it, you know, an easy decision with, you know, the money that it would cost to go. So, you know, with the financial side of things, I feel like people were more understanding when they understood that part. But yeah, my father was extremely, you know, cool with, he's basically supported me doing whatever. He's like, dude, I know you just got to do what you want to do. He would always ask me when I was playing basketball, like, hey, do you still want to do this? You know? he wasn't the guy to like push me too crazy, but he was the guy to try to create any opportunity he could for me, which is cool. But yeah, you know, at the end of the day, I don't think I really had too much of that. Yeah, no, they kind of like, you know, if you know what you want to do and you feel like, you know, it's a good decision, go for it. And yeah, you know, again, that was a good decision. I was happy with it. But yeah, at the end of the day, no, I did not really have much pushback, which was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, because that's like the old '80s story, right? Like,
yeah,
you have the kid who wants to skate, and like his dad's like, "No, you're gonna play soccer," and then there's this tension that comes between those two things. I think parents are like way more accepting of you know, like singular sports now than they were in the past. And I'm not really sure what the reason for that is. I don't know if it's because everything has become like the iGeneration since, you know, iPods and iPads, and we have control of things. But it also seems like, I remember going up to I Street probably 10 years ago, and you'd see like 5 people up there at any given moment. And now you go on a Thursday night in the fall and you're going to get 30 kids and adults riding. Plus, you know, you got the 5 OGs who are still sending it at 50 years old in the morning too.
Yeah, man.
So much youth now.
They've done a couple little like events and stuff too this year. Like nothing crazy, but just like, hey, like, you know, last Friday of the month, like, you know, a little jam. So I did that like earlier in the season. There was a group of like Idaho boys, I'm pretty sure, who were like doing these little last Friday of the month jam type things. And I showed up to one of those, and that was cool. Like that was the first time I had really ridden with a bunch of people there. And yeah, the vibe was dope. Like everybody was kind of doing whatever they wanted. And my buddy John was like, "Yo, bro, you think you could front flip that step up?" I was like, probably. I was like, I'll give it a feel. He's like, okay, I'll just film it. I was like, all right. And I said, screw it. I didn't do a feeler, and I just fronted it. And everybody was like, dude, what the? Like, dude, nobody fronted that yet. I'm like, what do you mean nobody fronted it? Like, with this many riders who come here all the time, I figure somebody's done it. He's like, no, bro, nobody fronted that little thing. Like, I'm like, damn, cool. But, you know, it's just fun because, like, I wasn't thinking of doing it, but just like with the vibe and stuff, I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Like, why not? You know? And that's kind of how the whole vibe is there. Like, I remember the first time I rode the money line, like I was like, oh, you know, I don't feel like riding the money line right now. And then I started riding it, and I'm like, yeah, now I want to ride it. It looks really fun. You know, and then we started ripping the money line. I think first run through, I made it all the way through. I hit G money. And Brady Tweedy was like, damn, dude. He's like, I don't think I've seen anybody clean that first go and G money. I was like, I thought that was this part of the trail. And then
I did not clear G money first time through. I want everyone to I got a broken wrist and a concussion.
Funny thing is, so then you know, second lap through, I like flipped money. And they were like, damn. And then I went into G money, and I don't know what happened, but I went a little slower and just case the crap out of it, man. Like, so bad.
That one will take you down when you case it.
Well, I went a little deep, I think, on the flip, and then like just cruised. Like I should have like probably took a pedal and like pumped out of the berm, and I kind of just like cruised the berm and just like went and 50-50'd it, dude. Like twisted my bars perpendicular to the wheel, like so bad. I'm like, I was fine, but it was like just so textbook, like terrible case.
Right.
And I was like, all right, I'm calling it.
After that very successful first run too.
Yeah. I was like,
bummer.
damn it, dude.
Yeah.
But it's funny, man. You know, it's a fun place to ride. I'm definitely stoked to spend more time there. Been pretty busy. But yeah, I hope to be getting up there a bit more. I've got a buddy who's moving out to the area. So we'll be able to kind of carpool, which will be nice because it's pretty expensive for me to drive up there all the time.
Yeah.
You know, between driving there and the Virgin and stuff, it's like I'm spending pretty much every bit of spending money that I make on fuel and or like food and stuff. You know, like I can plan for a meal, but when I'm gone to Virgin for a weekend or whatever, you know, I'm I'm going to end up spending some money, on food and stuff like that. So getting up there, a little difficult, but it should be a little bit easier here soon, and I'll be getting up there a bit more.
Well, if Rob is down there, you don't have to worry about food. He makes everyone hamburgers, so you'll be set, dude. Just go find Rob. He won't be hard to find. He has every camping accessory known to man.
I was actually going to say that. I was going to say, dude, if you're ever down in the Virgin, and you fucking see my setup, come by.
You'll see it as soon as you come up around the corner. Like even if it's behind the mountain, it'll be popping up.
Probably smell it, man. I'll smell it.
Yeah. He's always cooking for everyone.
So curious, like, what are your goals? What's the, I wouldn't say end game, but where are you trying to take this?
Yeah, man. So I don't know. My end goal is, a never ending goal. And that's just to inspire as many people as I can to get out and just live life to the fullest, whether you want to do that on a mountain bike or not. I just want to encourage people to get out there and try things and do things regardless of, things that they feel like might be holding them back. I didn't get on a bike until I was 23. I've only been riding a very short period of time. So it shows kids, hey man, you got plenty of time. I've got friends who are like, man, but this guy's so much better. I'm like, dude, you're 18, 19. I'm like, dude, I started at 23. You're fine, but on the flip side, again, then I did start a little older, and I'm 27 now, and I'm getting after it. It shows people who are in their 30s, like, hey man, you can go ride like that Blue Flow Trail. Like you could go ride that like Black Diamond Trail. Like, you can get out there and you can do it. But you gotta try it. You gotta try it. So like for me, I feel like a lot of my journey, I've tried to show just as much of the good or just as much of the bad as the good, sometimes even more the bad early on, I have no shame in like showing crashes and fails and things like that, because at the end of the day, everybody's doing it. And if you're not, then you're not getting better. That's just the truth of it. But yeah, my ultimate goal is to inspire. So, within the sport, I just want to ride at the highest level that I can with all the other people who ride at that level, because being around that is just really fun. People who are sending it as hard as you are or harder. Again, like that camaraderie I was talking about when you're at those fest events, things like that. It's just insane. Obviously, with that being said, Rampage is kind of like the cream of the crop top event, for the free rider. That's definitely something that's in my sights. I hope to one day ride Rampage. I'll be submitting next year. I'll be submitting the year after that. One of these years I know I'll be in it, and I don't want to just get in it, man. I want to go for a podium or a top spot. I'm lucky enough to have all the right people around me to get there, to coach me getting there, mentor me to get there, and to do all the things that required to get there alongside me. Reed Boggs has been incredible when it comes to getting me acclimated to the terrain out here, especially, the virgin terrain. My first day out, he just kind of took me on this checklist of things. He's like, hey, I don't do this for a lot of people, but I know how you ride and know what you can do. Like, this is how we're going to do it. I was like, I'm not going to let you bite off more than you can chew, but I'm not going to hold you back. If you don't want to do something, that's cool. Let me know. But, I'm not going to show you something that you can't do, because I'm going to have you do something before it. That's what you have to do to be able to do the next one. And so he just kind of brought me on this checklist of things. First day out, and once I moved out to Utah, I think it was like second week out or something, I was in Virgin with Reed, and I was doing a 25, 30 foot step down backflip like that, and I had never done one that was like that. I had done some on like slope style courses and stuff, but nothing like far down and natural. Slope style stuff was more like long and low type stuff with like a bigger lip. But yeah, but at the end of the day, like that was what we ended on. He's like, I'm just, I want to show you this, I think it might speak to you. And he showed it to me, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to flip it. He was like, I thought you were going to say that, did a speed run, flipped it, and he was stoked, and I flipped it again. And, we left, and he's like, dude, yeah. Like, he's like, I knew you were going to do that. He's like, I wasn't going to push you to do it, but I knew that if I showed you, like, you were just going to look at it and be like, I think I can do it. And then, yeah, like the next day he took me done a few different things, and then we ended up ending on, we ended on knee fives, but before that, we ended on Kong. And I thought Kong was like, coming from the East Coast, I thought Kong was going to take me like months to even think about, you know? So yeah, you know, day 2, he just like showed me every feature. You know, we didn't just like full pull it, because again, I'd never ridden anything like it, you know, but he like showed me this, showed me that, showed me this. And he's like, you know, let's go. We'll go piece by piece. And yeah, we pieced it down. But yeah, towards the end, he doesn't go the normal Kong way. He has his own way that branches off, and then it ends in this nice big step down. And, you know, I hit that and hit his big step down, got to the bottom. He's like, yeah, bro, that's Kong. So yeah, you know, I think ultimately the goal is Rampage, but past that is just to inspire as many people as I can. And one of the things I feel like can do that is trying to bring outside, you know, companies into the sport.
Yeah.
So, you know, with that being said, I actually just recently got hooked up with Arizona, the beverage company. Yeah, I felt like Arizona was a company that could really help me connect with more people, and people of all ages, you know, shapes, sizes. You know, when it comes to the energy drinks, I don't really think you should be pushing energy drinks on 12-year-old kids, and you shouldn't be pushing them on 7-year-old, you know, people. But I mean, I've been out there riding bikes with 10-year-old kids and riding bikes with 80-year-old people. Where when it comes to a beverage company like Arizona, you know, they have something for everyone. So yeah, I feel like one of the ways to connect with more people is to do it through these other avenues and bringing other outside companies in to do so. So yeah, I think the end all be all goal would be to work with companies that are outside of the industry, that are really large and could help bring more eyes into the sport and inherently more people into the sport, which would inherently bring more revenue into the sport and just help the sport. You know, obviously everybody knows like the sport's struggling a little bit if you work in the industry. But yeah, I think that ultimately we have a big issue here, and it's that we've got, you know, probably 90, I'd probably say, let's call it like 80% of the riders or 75% of the riders are just white males. And then obviously we've got quite a few females now, and then we have very few black females and males in the sport. I think that when we have half the world who's not even looking at the sport, kind of hard to make the sport grow. So ultimately, you know, one of my goals is to try to get more minorities into the sport of any kind, you know, just minorities, period. So yeah, you know, that's my goal is just to help the sport as much as I can. And there's really never been anybody doing what I'm doing on a big bike, on a full suspension bike that looks like me. So I just feel like almost obligated to keep pushing, and to, again, try to find new spotlights, and new ways to connect with the outside world to hopefully bring and influence, you know, people to get on bikes, to pay attention to the sport, to get into the sport, or to get out there and just enjoy the outdoors, you know, the way that I like to, or in a different way.
Well, we have a question that kind of relates to that from someone called the Glampets, and it says, how do you live being so fucking tall, dark, and handsome? You're like a tan Jesus who hucks.
I love it, man. I love it, man.
I guess it's not super hard. You are right, though. No one knows about this sport. Like, aside from Boston Rob, no one knows, like, say, if, you know, like, who's a monster? Kyle Strait.
Yeah.
No one's going to know that Kyle Strait is like walking through Harmons, right? Like, we would know.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a very small community.
Yeah. You wouldn't, I mean, dude, Goldstone, you know what I mean? Like, right. Goldstone could go through somewhere, and you could throw Goldstone in a college, man. And there might be like 5 people who know him, dude, but he's one of the most winning young guys out there, you know? Again, like you said, any of us would be right away would know. But yeah, you know, that's the thing with the sport is there's no outside eyes on it. And so I feel like, you know, again, you like, obviously, at least, you know, Boston Rob, you know, man, you're like, you know, you probably heard the term like, oh, that's white people shit, you know, like that's what the black community would say about like some crazy downhill skateboarding or mountain biking or things like that, you know? BMX is a little different. Like you got guys like Nigel and whatnot who've connected to the community. And then you got guys like Nigel who were working with like Nike and Jordan, who's again, those outside the industry companies that need to be brought in to connect more people. Until Nike is making mountain bike shoes, like it's going to be a large demographic in the inner cities that just doesn't pay attention. But you drop a really dope mountain biking Jordan, well, now you're going to have people putting their eyes on it, So yeah, ultimately I feel like that's, one of the avenues that needs to be pursued. And that one of the avenues, again, it's, I was like, I felt like I want to reach out to Arizona. It's a company that I feel like really resonates with me. I've been drinking it my entire life. And I just love it, and so I reached out and they were really stoked on the idea. Nice. And they kind of saw the vision that I was talking about. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of one of the routes that's going to have to be used, because at the end of the day, like to get the eyes, you need money. You need money to be thrown into it, or at least effort. And it's, again, one person can do so much, but it's ultimately followings that need to be touched. And it's like, okay, you hit this following, then you connect these followings and so on and so forth. And it just kind of creates a domino effect and will bring more eyes into it.
Yeah. I actually saw literally what you were talking about 2 weeks ago on Instagram. And it was this dude, he's like, in this episode of White People Shit, and it's just people like doing rampage stuff. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, that guy's so hilarious. Funny. Yeah, so I'm like, it's funny because so I don't remember his name. I'm pretty sure I follow him. Not his videos come up all the time. I should follow him. I'm pretty sure I do. But I'm like, I'm just waiting for the day that I get in the rampage and I put down a run and somebody can send it to him. And I just want my video. I already do stuff. He could probably do it for like any of the clips that I post. But yeah, I know who you're talking about. He's just so funny. Like random acts of white people or something like that is what he says. Yeah. He's so funny. And it's like always like these crazy things. But yeah, that's just what it is, like in the inner city, like people don't really, I don't know, just like stereotypes are very strong, man. And they'll just really shoot people down. Like I've definitely seen kids who like were interested and then like their friends and stuff were just like not, and they and then they just boom, missed opportunity, So yeah, I want to have or help make that, not be so present, and there not be so many missed opportunities for people, in general, just people, man. It's like everybody is a person, doesn't matter, black, white, whatever. It's like everybody deserves to go out there and like do what they like and or try things and see if they like it, but I feel like a lot of people just don't even try it because of these stereotypes and their friend groups and stuff that shut them down. So yeah, I want to make that more of a normal thing. Just get out there and try things.
Well, I think you're the right person for it. I mean, when I met you, I think it was last spring, like I said, and you were at Woodward, and I think you were trying to learn front flips or something that day, or you're doing double backflips. I can't remember what it was. But you said you had been there for like 7 straight hours or something ridiculous.
Damn, autistic level.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm just going to keep doing this until I do it the way I want. And you're like, that one wasn't good. And you like come back up and you're like, no, that one was close, but not quite good enough. And you had been putting so much effort into
I think I was doing cashies that day. Cash rolls.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Cash rolls. Yeah, no, it's funny because, like that's one of the things that people notice, like that I don't even think about. But like, I'll be at Woodward and they'll just be like, dude, how do you keep going? Like, what the? I'm like, what do you mean? Like came here to ride the pit and they're like, dude, you haven't stopped. You just hit it and you go back up and you just hit it. And you like, that's kind of the point. But I didn't really think about it, and now I'm like, damn, okay. Yeah, I am kind of like just getting after it. But that's something that was instilled upon me from Caden Ingersoll. So, back at Highland, that was my training guy. Was Caden Ingersoll. I had quite a few other friends who I rode with, buddy Silas, he's the one who's moving out here, Carter, the list goes on, but Caden was the one who had like all the skills and was more than willing to give you everything he could to, help you, but you had to give him everything. And it was hard to keep up with Caden, man. But it's like, I would try, I would try. And it was like, you would just hit the pit and you were back up there in 30 seconds or less. And I basically, I treat that foam pit as a cardio workout. It's like, I don't want to get out there and run. Like, that's boring. I was always good at running. I hated long distance. It was just not fun, but I'll go ahead and I burnt 6,600 calories one day at Woodward.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, even for a dude at 6'5",
66, it was 64, 60.
That's 2 days worth of food.
But yeah, it was like you were saying, man, it's just going and going and going and going and going.
That's crazy.
Sometimes I forget to drink water. That can be a hard one.
Yep.
You just get so locked in. But I've gotten a little bit better at it.
You know who you are? You're Michael Phelps.
Yeah. Michael Phelps. Nah, man. Ask me to pedal, though. I'm good, man. I ain't pedal. My e-bike for sure, but I haven't even really had a bike that I could pedal, because everything that was like that, I was straight to single speed. The only thing that has gears, the only bike I have that has gears is my demo, is my downhill bike. It's got a 7-speed, but I mean, again, you're not pedaling that. I think next year I might acquire some kind of analog pedal bike, but I'm not sure yet if I want to go short travel or what.
Short travel's fun. On the minority thing, you might be the first free rider of color, or whatever you want to say, but I can think of like 2 black downhillers in the past 20 years. That's Shams March and Elliot Jackson.
Oh,
yeah.
The only other guy I know of is Cody. What the hell's his last name?
Oh yeah, Cody Johnson.
He does the biker Rutbanger. He does the bike reviews and shit. I met his sister at.
He raced for a while.
Yeah, Rutbanger is really cool. I've got a couple of I got a slope style buddy, Keon O'Brien. He rides a little bit of big bike. And then there's this kid overseas, like Yael Yael. He gets after it pretty well. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we were joking. We were doing some filming for a video. Actually, I have to try to get down there this weekend and just wrap up with some B-roll stuff for this video. But we were laughing because a lot of the things I did, we were like, well, that was probably the biggest backflip ever done by a person of color. That was probably the biggest front flip ever done by a person of color. That was the first step down whip ever done by a person of color. It's just funny, just kind of doing the stuff and going through the motions. But ultimately it's just crazy that a lot of this stuff has just not been done. So there's a few guys out there who are kind of approaching it from a different way. Like Rutbanger, again, kind of doing what he sounds like he's like getting after on the slalom course and stuff like that. Keon's attacking that slope style field. And then I'm just going, straight rampage style and doing 50-foot flips off cliffs and stuff. So it's cool to see that we have a couple other guys out there of color who are getting after it, and we're all kind of doing it in our own avenues, which I feel like in the long run is really going to help, and then it'll be cool to kind of come together. But there's not a lot, but there is a few. I haven't really had any. That's the thing, is I didn't really have any to look up to, that look like me doing what I'm doing. But I didn't really care about the color part. I just knew that, I wanted to do it, and I had other people around me to look up to, and to ride with. Surprisingly enough, early on, a lot of my inspiration actually came from like just the Highland locals, and specifically the Highland women. They had a lot of women there who were getting after it. Specifically one of them being Tanya Willick. She was like 51 or 52 when I first met her.
Fuck.
Wow.
My buddy's mom, who was just ripping like 12-foot drops and 30-foot jumps, doubles, like crazy, like Red Bull kickers and stuff. And she's like 50 plus years old.
That's what
and and I saw that, dude, and I was like, well, shit, man, I don't care. I thought I started too late, at 23. I saw that. I'm like, dude, I'm good to go. And like, that was really what allowed me to just be like, screw it.
Well,
like if I love it, just go for it. And, I had no like aspirations to go pro, my first like bit into it. But, probably like 6 months in, I was like, I should probably push, and I was like, I should probably keep pushing. And yeah, it was like my third day. So basically, I don't know if you guys know, but like I started riding that kid Parker's, backyard compound. I rode that for like 2 weeks, and then and that was like my first bit of riding. Like, dude, I was like, I couldn't hit a double that was like 3-4 feet. Like I hadn't really seen a double before. Then I was like getting it like day one. And then by the end of the first day there, he had this 6.5 foot lip, like 20-foot gap double. And I was like, dude, I'm going for it. He's like, okay. I went for it, dude. I nose cased the crap out of it. Folded over the bars, stalled. He still to this day, we wish we had film because we had never seen this before. Like I just like full compressed into the fork and just stalled for like 3 seconds and then fell over. But I didn't get discouraged. Like the next day, dude, I went for it again. I got it. Cased the crap out of it, but I got it.
Nice.
By the end of the session, I got through it. And then rode that like, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 days a week for like 2 weeks. And then he was like, bro, I'm going to Highland. You want to come? I was like, yeah, let's go. He's like, I got a buddy pass and stuff. So we went Thursday. Dude, I couldn't get down like the blue trails, first run, like it was going around everything. And then by the end of by lunchtime, I was like clearing everything on the blue trail called Cat's Paw. Yeah. Wicked shit trail if you ever get to go to Highland.
Used to love that trail, dude.
And then, and then by the end of that day, dude, they were like, yo, we want to show you Hellions, their black jump trail. Went through it, dude. Crashed so hard. Got back up, was laughing, mud all in my helmet stuff. They were like, dude, what happened? And I was like, I ate shit. But they're like, all right, dude, we can like chill out. I'm like, no, let's go do it again. And I did it again, dude. And I cleared everything except for like the last big step up. I had never really seen like a big step up. It was not big by any means, but big enough,
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, then I ended up clearing the step up. They're like, yo. And so that was like, Thursday, Friday came back. I was riding all that stuff. Again, and then I was riding like a couple other like beeline on like these pretty crazy trails, and then Saturday came around. I came again, and Saturdays got pretty busy in the summertime, and everybody was seshing this one area called Tombstone.
Yep.
So it's a 12 foot by 12 foot drop with like a 26 foot gap, like 7 foot tall lip double after it. And so, all the boys I was with were like just ripping this thing, dude, But there's another one called Stepping Stone next to it that was closed, which is like 6 by 6 foot, So it was closed. And I'm just watching. Everybody was just like session this thing. There's probably like 20 plus people sessioning this thing. Tanya was one of them, and I saw Tanya rip this drop and jump. And I was like, dude, what? And that was one of my buddy Brody's mom. I was like, holy crap, like this is insane. And I was like, Parker, I think I can do it. He's like, I think you can do it. And all the other boys were like, bro, no, and anyways, I went for it and just like BMX yanked and landed flat. Like I went like 20 foot, like on a 12 foot drop, Damn. Not good. And straight into the tire, but like, we're fine. I was like, whoa, I'm like, dude, this is what these things can do. And they were like, oh my God, I've never seen that. Like, dude, I landed in between the jump and drop, Awesome. They're like, how the hell is this kid okay? Oh, and I was like, I'm gonna do it again. They're like, no. I'm like, no, dude, like that was worst case scenario. Like this is easy. And dude's like, sure as shit, I went back up and I just like greased it. And they were like, stop. Because they didn't think I could like hit the jump, dude. And I said, screw it, dude. I went for the jump and greased it. And they were like, oh my God. They were like, dude, dude, that took me 6 years to do. I was like, what do you mean? Really? They're like, dude, that took me 6 years. And I was like, oh, okay, And then like I did it again. And then, chilled. It came back the next week. And then I was just like riding these things and I did it again. I was doing, they're like, dude, we've never seen this before. Like, holy crap, because like they saw it, they watched me from day one where like I couldn't get down the blue trail till like 3 days later. I was ripping, one of the gnarliest things I got there.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, man. Like,
yeah, but that's what I said. Know. You're athletic. Like I could tell. Yeah. I could tell when I met you, you didn't just bike. Like I knew just from how you moved.
That was it.
And like how you behaved and like, I could tell you had played other sports and like you had some discipline and athletic ability.
I'm analytical as well. That plays into it. But yeah, like again, the sports gave me the discipline of like getting after it, and giving everything, everything you got. The longboarding gave me, knowing how to fall. and the no fear factor. You know, again, having that fear threshold from downhill skateboarding to having, you know, brakes and suspension, it was pretty easy to be like, all right, let's get it. Yeah. And then just being analytical. You know, I have a very, like, my dad's an engineer, you know, I got a very, like, analytical mind. So yeah, being able to break things down. And that was something that the women helped me a lot with too. You know, I noticed, you know, the guys is kind of like, oh yeah, you just do this, you know, but like the women would like lay down on the drop and like look at it, you know, from eye level. And I was like, damn, that makes a lot of sense. And you look, cause I'm like, for me, I'm like a 12-foot drop is freaking 18 and a half feet. Looking at it from my, you know what I mean? Like that looks freaking scary as can be. But then you lay down, you look at it, and you're like, oh, okay, you know? So yeah, you know, that was, again, that was another thing I pulled from the women. I think Tanya was really the one that kind of like break the ice and like let me just say, you know what, screw it, forget age, forget all this, like just go ride if you like, just ride. And then the way that they would break things down, I think made it a whole lot easier to grasp things early on. Just like, again, coming into it early on, you're just like, holy crap, you know, but yeah, I think that was like one of the first times that I was like, okay, let's look at it maybe a little different and try to like not make it look scary. I'm like, oh, you know, look at it for what it is. Yeah, man.
Couple of things we have in the comments. It looks like so we have a funny one. Jerrell is Darius Rucker of Freeride, except talented. And your buddy Squire Highland said Jerrell took me down and led me my first time on the shark fin drop, the top of a Highland, Hellion at Highland. By the way, lived from the East Coast. If you can't tell,
no,
moved back to Utah and rode Highland for 3 seasons. Fucking great place. And Squire also said he's been riding Highland for 3 years and watching Jerrell's progression and growth was unbelievable. An unbelievable thing to see firsthand. And Jimmy made a great comment. You want to say that, dude?
It's great.
What, great?
It's great.
Okay. No, I just said we've had like a pro skier on the show. And I would say you're an athlete too. There's a difference between athletes and average Joes that did athletics or sports. You're definitely an athlete. Ryan McElman is an athlete. There's a distinct difference.
Yeah. Yeah, like whatever Ryan picks up and whatever Jerrell picks up, they're probably going to be good at.
Yeah.
I am the opposite side of that. I am the average Joe who did athletics and has to work very hard to be subpar.
I don't know. The EXT boys have been playing golf, man. I've picked up a club a few times now, and man, I'm pretty bad. Yeah, I can chip a little bit, and I can putt good. My putt game's on par.
That's good.
All
That's
right?
what you want.
That's about it though. Like if we're in a scramble, man, I'm not even gonna pick up the other clubs. Put me in for the putt.
I was gonna say, if you
I'll make some good ones, but
if you can putt for me, I can do the rest. The putting's where I always fucking shit.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I have this problem where I just like, I try not to try to kill it, and I try to kill it every time.
You can't not.
I don't know.
Show them how far you can hit it.
Gotta give it full power. JP isn't necessarily strong, but he's also athletic. I will say that.
He's strong.
He's
too.
an athlete.
I was gonna say, when you said
he's strong, but he's an athlete.
When you said you had to try really hard to be subpar, wanted to make sure people got the emphasis on the subpar portion of it.
Subpar for sure.
Well, I mean, in his own right, JP's an athlete as well. Like golfing in high school, like, and a phenomenal mountain biker, and he picks it up well. Like road biking, like the whole thing.
Yeah,
Emphasis
I guess
on road biking.
Hey, get the fuck in.
He does a lot of road biking.
I only road biked to train for cyclocross. Okay, cyclocross.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes it better.
Questions?
Yeah. Let's do questions from the audience. And
all right, what do we got?
We'll start with photosensitive cycling, and it says, "How do you really feel about scooter kids?"
Oh, okay. This is my thing about scooter kids, all right? I have no problem with scooter kids, okay? I love when I show up to Woodward and they're getting after it, okay? But I do have a problem when they're just not getting after it. Like if I can hop on a scooter and I don't scooter, and I can do more tricks on the scooter than you, and you're not trying to do more, I'm probably not a huge fan of you. But if you're getting after it and you're trying, dude, I don't care if you're landing stuff or not. I just want to see you like trying. So when it comes to scooters, if kids are on it and they're trying, dude, I don't care if their best trick is a 180. If they're trying and you can tell, I'm cool with it, man. Like, you do your thing. But it's like when they're just hopping on a scooter and they're just like, for lack of a better word, like just posers and like not even trying. It's like, dude, come on, So that's my take. I love scooter kids, man, who are like getting after it. Sometimes I show up to Woodward and that's all that's there.
Yeah.
And it's just a group of like 3-4 kids who like aren't landing one trick, but they're trying some shit and they're just eating it. Like, I'm like, yes, like go for it. Sick, But it's like, yeah, when you got the kid who like just jumps into the foam pit and just throws the scooter the entire 2 hours that he's there and he's not even trying to land on the scooter. Like, dude, come on. I just want you to try. So yeah, ultimately I just like when people try, Yeah. You don't have to try that hard, but just like give it a little effort. But like when you're just jumping in and you're just throwing your scooter into the big lip lane and I have to wait now because you're just throwing the scooter for no reason and you're only going 2 feet into the pit, you could just stay on it like that. That's when I'm like, come on.
It's a frustration.
And again, skate park kind of vibe. It's just etiquette. I don't care what you're on, dude. If you're on blades, if you're on Heelys, dude, I don't care.
Heelys,
like,
dude, Heelys.
Just whatever, bro, but like, just like if you're at the skate park or something, like, dude, just have etiquette, like pay attention, like look around. Like you cut somebody off by accident, okay, well, it happened, they cut you off, okay, but if it's like, if you're just not looking at all and you have no skate park etiquette, I'm like, dude, come on. But again, that goes with bikes, scooter, skateboard. That's not just scooter, So yeah, I don't have anything against them if people are on them and trying, that's my thing.
I know this is your interview, Jerrell, but I'm a narcissist and I also want to answer your question. I think the thing that causes kids to throw their scooter into the pit is the same thing that caused them to get on the scooter in the first place. And they're
for
kind
sure.
of a pussy sometimes.
No, it's a fear thing, and that's the thing is like, if you're not even trying to overcome it,
right,
then that's when I'm like, okay, come on, dude, and it's fun because I don't know, I coach the scooter kids when I'm there. I coach the skiers, the snowboarders, like anybody, because it's all relative. Like it's all the same.
Yeah.
I can tell if somebody's popping too early. I can tell if they're popping too late. I can tell if they're turning their head too early, or so on and so forth. You name it. Or then I can tell if you're just not trying. So it's like, yeah, when I see those kids, like I'll like, I judge. I don't like coach anybody the same. I don't coach anybody who I feel like doesn't want to be coached. But yeah, if I can help somebody, I will. And so yeah, I'll give them a little bit of insight and to what I think might help those people out. And then if I see that they aren't receptive at all and or don't even try, I'll go like, okay, cool. And then I just move on. But yeah, I think it's a fear thing that definitely makes them gravitate towards it. And then if they don't try to overcome it, then those are the kids who are throwing it. But you got kids who are on them and they're just going crazy.
Yeah.
And doing things that definitely they got no fear for,
Yeah.
Trap 230 asks, over under 2 bites for a Big Mac.
Over under, damn.
Wow.
For a Big Mac?
Yeah.
Dude, they kind of shrunk a little bit.
Yeah, they did.
Very good point.
Now a medium Mac.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're being honest though, I think you'd have to put it at like 2.5. Okay. You need the hook on it because I think that you're just gonna break even. Probably at 2. I think the over under is gonna be 2.5 is where I'd put the line.
Chief, the kids call him a mid Mac these days.
This one's from Chris Nealand, and he says, does he remember hitting...
Chris Nealand, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay, go ahead. Keep continuing, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna mention him.
Does he remember hitting GX for the first time on a clapped-out demo with the wrong spring rates?
Yep, bro. So, oh, my God. Chris Nealand, dude. Chris Nealand was a big part of it, actually, too. So, yeah, dude, Chris Nealand is, I don't know, he's probably in his mid-30s, late 30s, I would think. Dude, he's built guy, wicked cool guy. But yeah, dude, I remember it was like maybe like a month in, dude, month and a half, a month in. It was like a month in. And I had hit like everything on the mountain except for this one feature called dump truck and the slope style course. And I was riding Power Hour, which was like this like 40 foot by 45 foot double, like back to back, like all this stuff. And I was riding it with Chris Nealon. And he was like, dude, you want to ride the slope style course? I'm like, I've never ridden the slope style course. He's like, what do you mean, dude? You're ripping Power Hour and like all this other stuff. I'm like, yeah, dude, I've just never done it. He's like, well, do you want to like start working your way down it? He was like, and I was like, yeah, why not? And so, yeah, basically we just started like picking things off. So he's like, all right, let's do like a step down into like the boner log. And so we hit the step down in the boner log. And he's like, all right, you got that. He's like, okay, let's do like the shark fins and then let's do the drop and then we'll do GX. And I was like, all right, you think? He's like, dude, I think you got it, man. I was like, okay, let's do it. And so yeah, it's that's also like a 12 by 12 foot drop into a 10 foot tall lip, like 24 foot gap, probably double, like this big moto kicker. And yeah, dude, I hit it and like got a little off kiltered and just like landed and kind of like wadded. But I was like, okay. And he was like, damn, like, and he filmed it and he's like, dude, what do you got for a spring in that thing? And, I was on a 2012 Demo 8, completely clapped, like completely, and I didn't know. It's the nicest bike I ever rode. I got it for like $600 or $700 from Facebook Marketplace. Like, but dude, I had no idea, dude, the rims were just destroyed. Like everything was messed up, but he's like, yeah, what do you got for a spring in that thing? And I was like, dude, what do you mean? What do you got for a spring in it? I don't know. He's like, oh, okay. So he's like, okay, I think I have a spring that, let's check it. And he's like, I think I have a better spring for you. And like, come to find out I had like the light or like the medium spring. And then there was like a heavy and an extra heavy. He had an extra heavy spring. And he was like, dude, I'll put an extra heavy spring in it for you. And, that should help. And it helped a little bit. But then we went to look and there was no oil in the fork. Like just dust. I didn't know there was supposed to be oil in the thing. Like, dude, dust. We opened it up. It was just dirt, both sides.
That's hilarious.
And we were like, whoa. He was like, dude, I have a 2013 like team edition, 26 inch, same thing, 26 inch boxer team edition. He's like, dude, I'll give it to you for $100, man, with the new spring in it and stuff. And he's like, I'll help you put it on. I'm like, dude, thank you, and yeah, dude, Chris helped me out. We put that on there. Remember like my first lap, dude, I was coming into Tombstone and like they've since redone this trail, but before Tombstone had this like really gnarly like Chundry rock section into like this step down into that drop and then the jump.
Yep.
And most people just session like a lot of people like wouldn't even hit that step down into it, wouldn't hit that rocky section before. Like it was gnar. Like I never could hit it, but then come to find out, just because I had a non-functioning fork with zero rebound and stuff, first lap of the day, I come into that section and it feels like way better. Like what the? And I just started going. And I just like hit the step down. I was like, what the? And then I just like hit it. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, good to know. Like gear matters a little bit. That was kind of like my first awakening to like, okay, yeah, like gear does mean something when you're doing things of like this caliber. But yeah, I mean, that was really like the only upgrade I ever did to that bike. That was about the best I ever had on it. But yeah, dude, Chris Nealon was like one who helped me kick off pretty much all the slope style course and really helped me get there, dude. If I didn't have that fork, like I would have been held back a little bit, so it was cool. Like I was pushing it when it was like really bad. And then I had like a somewhat working fork and it was much better. I ended up blowing the fork probably like 2 weeks later, but yeah, at least I knew by then. And then I was like, okay, now I can like YouTube how to try to fix this thing and buy this and that. And then I started working on my own fork and stuff. And yeah, I was just able to like kind of keep it going. But yeah, man, that's cool. Dude, Chris, I'm glad he's on here.
Yeah. I tell you, man, like I fully believe, and I told you this earlier, maybe when we were just kind of talking back and forth, like in DMs, I fully believe you have a good shot at getting into Rampage sometime in the future. Like, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't. You're super talented. You work hard. You got a great attitude about all of it. You've even privately helped me on things that I've asked you about, which was, really, really nice of someone who is out there trying to make a name for themselves, to take time out and help other people. And I know you're the kind of person who wants to always pay it back. And I know that there just has to be like a ton of people out there who have rallied behind you. And you've mentioned a couple of them. Are there any other people who you've worked with, like you're talking about Chris, who have helped you get to the level that you're at, that you would want to give a shout out to before we move on to the second hour of the show?
Oh gosh. I mentioned Parker. He was the one who really got me out there first. I haven't really got to see him much in a long time. He was working a bit more and kind of stopped riding. I kind of started going slope style and riding all the guys. But, Parker was the first one in that group. My buddy Carter and his family gave me a place to rent at a very fair price by the mountain. And none of this would have happened if it wasn't for that. I had gotten a job offer from Highland, but I needed a place up there that was like going to work. So Carter and the Molchan family gave me a spot that was, very fair. So I have to thank them. Bunch of friends, man. Andy Mason. But yeah, a lot of the guys lately have been my buddy Silas. Silas Lazada, Caden Ingersoll, Christian Earhart, Nikolai Reed. Those have been the guys recently who've definitely in the last year or two. Cam Zink, man, for inviting me to his invitational 2 years ago. That was really my first time riding dirt. I didn't realize, Aiden Howe came out, a couple of the In the Hills gang guys came out to Highland and they're like, dude, you're crazy sending it like this and this stuff. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, you guys do all this stuff all the time. They're like, not on this, dude. This is cement. I'm like, dude, what do you mean? It's dirt. Like no, bro, this is rock and cement. Just wait till you come out west, I didn't know what he meant. And then I went out to the Zinc Invitational. It was my first time riding dirt. And I was like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cam Zink, I have to thank him for that because that was huge. And, that's kind of part of his whole event. That's really the whole event. That's what it's about, is giving those guys a chance to go and experience that stuff and to also give themselves, create a name for themselves. So yeah, man, ultimately, I say those guys, I have so many that I could name, but it's trying to pull them off. It's
yeah. I'm sure you're out there making plenty of friends. What about your sponsors?
Yeah, man. So I'm riding Specialized bikes, as you guys may know. I'm also riding for EXT suspension, reverse components. I just got picked up by Arizona. What else am I forgetting here, man?
Where's the list?
I heard.
Dude, I got so many. I got JB racks, helping me out with the bike racks and stuff. Sweet. They got a new rack. First one was early on in the stages. New one's insane. So definitely grateful to be able to get my bikes around because that was a struggle for a bit. I want to give a shout out to a Vision knee pads, dude. They're company out of East Coast, dude, who just makes these knee pads that are really rad. That I've just kind of sworn by and I like them. He just kind of tossed them to me and he tossed them to me to try and I loved them and I just won't ride anything else because they just don't move. A little bit different for some people because they kind of bubble out when you open your leg, but then when your knees are bent or when you would crash, they don't move and they're in the right position. But I think that's why they don't move. It's because they kind of move with your body. And then Mutt Society. I don't know if Rob knows them, but they're an East Coast brand that basically just helps get kids on bikes and also up and coming athletes.
Nice.
So yeah, really cool company that I definitely want to give a shout out to because they helped me out a bit. And it was cool to work with them and connect with the community a bit and get some of those kids too who just wouldn't normally be on a bike, and giving them opportunities.
Nice. Is there, before we move into the second hour, we always ask our guests, and you don't have to have this question, but is there a question you would want to ask us before we end this part of the podcast?
Question to ask you guys. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Who who's the biggest bitch when it comes to riding?
He's raised
I think we know who it is.
That's why we love him so much.
But I've stepped it up lately because I stopped being a little bit of a bitch.
Rob's our bottom bitch.
Okay. Now, Rob, are you wearing pads or not?
Always wearing pads, dude.
Oh, he's all the gear all the time.
His riding style is like his camping style.
Everything.
I have a 10-year-old son, and I took on the identity of a blue rider for a while. And after having a week off in between jobs, I decided to start hitting like big shit again. And I'm excited to get into the desert this winter and try to actually hit some shit again because I found a way, and it was really, really fun, and I stopped being angry at myself for sucking at riding.
That's fair. That's fair, man. I mean, kids will change the game.
Yeah.
They change the game. Yeah,
he's gonna be way the fuck better than I am in like maybe 2 years. He's getting good. He's getting good. It's super fun to ride with him. But I one-upped him by hitting some of the stuff on Pyrite at Solitude. So yay for that.
Old Pirate.
Yeah, I'm yet to ride there, man. I think I plan to go like the 28th. They have a little jump jam whip off thing or something.
Yeah.
I probably will not do a whip. I typically just show up and just have fun and put on a show. That was kind of what I did up at Boise Bike Fest.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, Braden, can I come up? He's like, yeah, for sure.
Nice.
I was like, I'm probably not going to do a whip. And he's like, I didn't think you were going to. He's like, go have fun. So I was like, all right, cool.
You can tell him to respond to my email.
Yeah. Braden has agreed to come on the show, but he apparently is not responding to Boston.
Dude, that guy
I will have to get back to him.
Man.
Yeah.
He is a busy guy, dude.
He's got a lot going on. Yeah.
Obviously he's got his whole family. But dude, with the hard MTB and all these other events that he's part of and just the community, like he does a lot for the community up there too. That's a busy guy, man. He couldn't even really ride in the event because he was just like coordinating and then on the phone and then coordinating and then on the phone for like hard MTB and stuff. Like it was just, he's busy. So I wouldn't take it too personal.
No, I'm not. I'm being tongue in cheek. I'm just goofing with him.
To be honest, I wouldn't respond to Robbie.
I barely do respond to Robbie.
I don't.
No, you don't even I send you emails and CC you, and you see like all the stuff, and you don't even know about it. I amazingly enough have had some amazing responses lately to my emails, and
I see your emails. I'm like a creeper when it comes to messages. I look at them.
He's got some good ones in there.
Know.
Yeah, but you're just a talent. You don't have to worry about booking things.
Yeah, but I still want to keep in touch and help.
I know you do.
Well, Gerald's been.
Cody Priano said, Perry, what's up?
Oh, nice.
Told me to say what's up.
Dude, I love Cody. I love all those guys out there.
I've been texting with Bo the entire time. They were gonna sneak in behind you and make some faces.
Oh yeah. I know. Bo and the boys were trying to get in the back and say a bunch of random stuff and get the dogs and stuff in there. And
we'd be
they had a bunch of stuff planned out.
Oh, are you down at the shop down there?
Yeah, I'm in the shop right now. I don't have Wi-Fi. Yeah, Bo's over here flipping me off, laughing, drinking a beer.
Send Bo a couple of those.
Tell him to stick his head there. Well, we got to have that back on as EXT.
I love it.
They were on super early as Suspension Syndicated. We got to get them back on to talk about EXT and to talk about their offerings and what they're doing, because that group of guys, like, they have fucking worked their asses off to get to where they are.
Oh yeah.
Amazing people, amazing things, and I'm stoked for their success.
We like them.
Oh yeah, man. I gotta get that Via. I gotta get that Via for my patrol.
You need it, man.
Yeah.
Anything else from any of you guys?
Only thing I wanted to say is earlier you said something about dominoes as far as like the domino effect. But we were talking about sponsors, and we were also talking about like, racially active things on this side or that side.
Yeah.
I feel like Domino's would be one of the best sponsors that everybody could get behind. You already got Arizona, like in Arizona and a Domino's in front of me right now.
That'd work.
I'd be so high.
Man, I do like me some Domino's, man.
Good commercial.
They got some money too.
Dude. But it's hard. Yeah, dude. That's the thing is like, with the food and stuff, yeah, I don't know, man. The drinks makes more sense, but I feel like there are a few food companies that could get involved for sure. I mean, Cliff was, doing some things with a few people. I don't know if there still are.
Yeah, you could bring some Cliff bars, or you could bring a few Dominoes.
Or you could show up, or you could pull up to High Street and have Dominoes delivered.
See, that's what I mean.
Dominoes delivers. Avoid
you got the
that.
sponsorship. You like send them the code. Delivery shows up. You're like, yo, boys, we good, and everybody's just going at night.
Well, you got to get DJ Brandt hooked up with that Arizona flow because he loves Arizona.
That's right.
When he came here,
I know everybody does. That's the thing, man. That's the thing.
$1.25.
Like,
yeah,
dude, Janelle too, man. I'm trying to get Janelle on board because Janelle and I have always talked about we want to work together because we just feel like Jerrell would be like we could brand that pretty well. And it's so funny because like I pulled up to Woolly Fest and I got some like Arizona and stuff when I got there, and she's like, "Oh my god, I love Arizona." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, like I'm actually riding for them now." And she's like, "Oh my god, I thought it's so exciting." She's like, "Oh, how'd you do that? Like that's my favorite drink." And like she proceeded to have an Arizona green tea like every day, and I was like, "Okay," I'm like, "Well, we don't have a girl yet, so like that's definitely the first one, that I would try to get hooked up with it, So we'll see, because that'd be fun to get Janelle on board, and we can finally do this Jerrell collab. We do both ride reverse components, so we might do something there. But yeah, she's obviously busy, and I've been really busy, and our schedules haven't quite aligned. But I think we'll find time, and we'll definitely do some kind of project in the future.
All right, last question from me. Have you been to the mountain bike capital of the world?
Bentonville?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know why it's called that, but no.
Good for you.
No, I haven't. I mean, I will eventually go, but I mean, I don't know. I don't understand why it has that name. There's nothing that's really drawing me to like really need to go there. I'm sure I have a lot of fun there, for sure. But I mean, there's nothing that's like seems any like bigger or badder than anything else. Like, I don't know. I feel like Highland's a pretty hard bike park to beat. If you're looking for bike park stuff, and then if you're looking for free ride, I don't think you can beat Utah. Pretty difficult. Downhill, there's not really many hills down there from what I've seen. So it's like, I have not, I thought about going this year. But yeah, I just ultimately didn't. I've got too many other things that end up just going higher on the priority list.
I would think
because
you'll want to bring your e-bike for sure.
Well, yeah, for sure. Like that's the thing. It's like I said, I'd have fun. For sure, I would have fun. But yeah, I mean, if I'm like going somewhere where I feel like I need to bring an e-bike to have fun, then I'm like probably not gonna go there. It's like over the other things that I have, planned, at the end of the day. And it's like, dude, I have Moab. Like I have Moab not even 2 hours from me, an hour, 40 minutes to Moab.
The OG mountain bike capital of the world.
Yeah. Like Moab is insane. Yeah. They're a non-e-bike place. I've seen more e-bikes down there than I have analog bikes. So I typically will opt for the e-bike. I don't really understand it, considering the trails that I'm riding are 100% rock, and I'm passing Jeeps when I'm on the trail.
Jeep trails.
So I don't get that whole thing. Again, I've heard it was like really quite a long time ago, really early on, when they were like no e-bikes and stuff. And like obviously they didn't really fully understand them at the time. Things have changed, and they still haven't changed it, but it seems like they're also pretty lenient on it, because again, I'll pull up, to like the Cane Creek entrance there by like the Tombstone, what do you call that? Cliff jumping. What is that? Whatever that thing is that I'll jump off of. But that parking lot right there, and I'll just see like Kenevo, Levo, Kenevo. Like, I'm like, okay. But yeah, man, no, I have not gone there. I will. But but yeah, it's not something that's been like super high on my priority list. Considering some of the other options are a bit more my pace.
Well, Bentonville Lunar says it's a Jeep thing you wouldn't understand.
He's on one.
He's always on one.
I love it, man. I love it. No, not again. Like I said, I know I'll have a great time. But yeah, it's like it's a lot of traveling, and I only get so much budget to do so. So I just try to use it on things that pertain more to what I do. And yeah, I was like thinking about going to U.S. Open this year, but I was like, I really would just go to like see the people, like old friends, and riding in the whip off. Again, just probably do tricks, put on a show. Last year was really cool. Clay had let David Lieb do a free rider division. So we had a bunch of us free rider boys together that would like do the race. And then when we were in the whip off, we also had the green light to like go do our thing. He's like, I know what you guys are capable of. Do what you guys are capable of.
Nice.
So that was really fun. Like we did, we were all on our big bikes. Like Caden Ingersoll did a flip whip on his Flash, nice. And then we had like Nikolai and Christian side by side doing a backflip, and then on my big status doing like a flip bar at the end. Like we were just having fun, like coordinating trains with just like tricks and stuff. Because whip offs are cool. But the problem is like you're gonna have 3 people who have a chance of winning, and then the rest are just like So yeah, it was really cool that they were like allowed us to kind of coordinate that stuff and keep the event just lively. Because yeah, you got Goldstone out there, dude. It's like Goldstone and like 2 or 3 others, who are gonna have a chance to beat that, and then there's 40 other riders, So yeah. No, that was fun, and I was thinking about going out there for that, but it was kind of the same vibe where like it's really just that, Killington's cool, but I'm not much of a downhill guy, and now I've been having a little bit more fun that I'm on some really high quality suspension. But, again, I'm not really drawn towards that. And then the jump trails and stuff at Killington are like not really jumps. They're just like long and low, flowy stuff. And yeah, it's kind of the same vibe for me. And that's why I haven't really gone to Bentonville yet. Haven't been able to justify it, but eventually.
Nice. Sorry, I'm getting a cord out because my computer's about to die. Well, dude, we wish you nothing but the best of luck in the future, and I think you have a bright future in this sport. And
thank you, man.
You're always a pleasure to talk to, whether it's in we're DMing each other or having you on the podcast, or just running into you in the desert or at Woodward. Just a good vibe all the way around. Very positive. I would hope everyone who isn't following you already would give you a follow and go watch the things that you're doing and watch you climb this ladder, because I don't think it's going to be long. I think another year or two, and
2026, bud.
Yeah,
it's worth.
That's the goal, man. That's the goal. I was out here for a short period of time and was able to do a lot. But now I got some more time to go do what I know I need to do to make it undeniable. That's the thing, is ultimately I just want to be undeniable when it comes to like Rampage. And getting into Rampage and whatnot. And so, like I made a submission this year. I was lucky enough to have a talk with some of the board, and they were like, dude, you impressed us, but been out here for a short period of time, like this is where we're at, but like, don't get discouraged. Got a good chance, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. That's ultimately what I'm going to be doing. And my biggest goal for Rampage is, I want to do it because it's just, I love this stuff and I love riding with those guys and doing that kind of thing. But again, I feel like the women's Rampage was incredible last year. I was very impressed. I felt that it was very entertaining. I feel like all the girls put down runs that were entertaining, to say the least. And I feel like that was, the next big thing that happened for the sport. But ultimately, I feel like the next big thing to come after that is, to see a person of color out there on that biggest stage in free ride. And I don't want to just be out there and come in last, like I want to be out there and I want to do what I can do. And
fuck yeah.
And I know what that is, so yeah, man. no, I appreciate that. And now ultimately I'm just going to be grinding to make it undeniable so that I can get in, and then yeah, and go do my thing and just make it sure that when I'm doing my thing, it's nothing outside the norm. It's just my normal day-to-day routine.
Next year, your Rampage submission, you should call it Undeniable.
Oh, yeah, you know, that was a thought, you know, but I need to make sure it is, you know, need to make sure it is. Yeah, but that's in the cards, man, for sure.
Oh yeah,
hell yeah, bud.
All right, well, feel free to hang around with us if you want, but you certainly don't have to. You've been talking with us plenty, so I feel like your obligation is been met.
Good.
But yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, so we do love having you on, and we want to have you back at some point. I don't think, you know, when you do make it, I don't think you're going to make it because you're the first person of color. I think you are just going to be beyond talented.
Yeah.
And I think people are really going to recognize it. But Bienve was like 30 the first time he rode. So
you were talking about age earlier. Bienve's 37 and Cam's 39.
Yeah, it was 33, was it? Or 34 the first time he rode.
35.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. So there's time. And if you stay in shape, like you can do it for a long time like Cam.
That's the plan, man. That's the plan.
Right on. All right. Anything else from you guys?
No, I got nothing.
All right. Jerrell, thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you, guys. I'm going to get home to my lovely girlfriend.
Good idea.
Hungry.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. We're all that, and we all want to get home to our lovely dogs.
I mean,
my dog's already here. I have nowhere to be.
and my kids and wife are already in bed, so
everyone's asleep. All right, see you, man.
Fair enough. All right, man. You guys have a good one.
Later.
Later.
I like that guy.
Yeah, me too.
I liked him from like 2 seconds into just even being around him. It's just a nice dude.
Well,
Seems super nice.
I remember talking to Bo from EXT at the Monster Downhill series, and I was like, but I reached out to him, I haven't heard from him. He's like, I'll tell him to fucking reach back out to you. And, you know, one thing led to the other. He's like, yeah, he's really trying to get in a Rampage, so it'd be great to have him on there. I'm like, yes. Yeah, great dude. And, I mean, he works for them, and he rides for them, and he's got a fucking super bright future.
Yeah, I agree with that. I see Jimmy's got his bike or his Blizz on, which means
his Blizz Coos on.
Yeah, his Blizz Coos on. Time to cover his face in Baku.
You're talking like me, dude.
Proto-cumbic.
Oh my God, it's contagious.
You guys sound like a bunch of Alex Jones over there.
Hey, making the frogs gay.
Joe.
Get closer to them.
We've been saying that for 4 or 5 years now. Joe. Yeah, he's got his Blizz on his face, and you can get Blizz on your face too if you go to enjoywinter.com. Use the code Sponch's mom, SPONCHESMOM, and she gets you
30%
off. That's right, 30% off. Sponch's mom won't get you all the way off, but she'll get you going. Get you a little precumbic lens going. And Jimmy, are you wearing photocumbic lenses right now?
All the time.
And those they shift with the light. Am I correct when I say that?
They do. They are light shifters. So if it's bright, they darken up.
It's enjoywinter.com. Use the code Sponch's mom, and you will save 30%.
Following Baiku is based.
The answer to why someone's good at everything. BMX background.
Yep. Especially when it comes to bikes.
Yes.
Seems to be what people think.
What do you think about all that?
What do I think about all that?
Yeah, because you don't have a BMX background, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, you did race BMX? It makes sense now.
I grew up riding BMX my whole life.
I didn't know if you did. I thought you just golfed and then magically started being good at bikes.
No, it's a little bit of both. I used to ride I've been riding bikes every day of my life since I was like 2.
Except for like the last year.
Yeah, I should take that back. Every day of my life up until my early 30s. It's all been downhill in a negative way from there.
Not in the good way?
No, it's terrible.
I noticed on Enjoy Winter, they sell saunas now, so I wonder if we can get 30% off a sauna.
Really?
Because it worked on everything else, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, the code works for the website.
I'm going to go check that out now.
Wait, like just a sauna?
Like a sauna that you can put in your backyard.
Yeah, my new job actually builds like
A
super
sauna.
fancy ones of
Sounds
those.
like one word, a sauna.
We just sold them to that Gary.
What's happening right now? So many people are talking.
It's like we regressed.
This is like when we went to watch the eclipse. Me, Matt Breakville, also known as Kiowa, my wife and his wife, and we were in this Jeep. And at one point, it's like, you got to remember, it's like 5:15 in the morning as we're driving out to the point of totality. 4 people talking. No one talking about the same thing.
Everybody's morning loopy talking.
Yeah, it was great.
I think that's me. I'm just tired from the day.
That's how it happens.
Yeah, it's been a day.
It has been.
Control my talking.
It's been something here in Utah for sure.
So R.I.P. Charlie Kirk.
Yeah,
but I've just been getting, filtering in. My one friend group that I have just goes and goes. There's like the 2 dudes behind them. There's a video of them doing some fucking baseball hand signals.
Yeah,
and
none
some
of that's
weird shit.
happening.
Is that real? Is it
No.
not? Okay, but my friend just sent me this 8:52. This is new. This is fresh. A private jet under the tail number blah 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 left Provo Airport an hour after the shooting. Suspiciously 30 minutes into the flight, it drops off illegally and reappears headed back to the Provo. They shut off their GPS.
Their transponder.
And they can't find the shooter. I knew I should have stuck around and hunted that fucker down.
If anyone could have done it.
I know.
It was you.
The one day I only carry 1 mag on me. I'm like, what if I show up and all I have is my Glock with 17 rounds and he's got an AR?
Uh-oh.
I needed a second mag.
Well, I've seen the other people who shoot the ARs. I don't think you have much to worry about.
This was a good shot.
Well, that guy, yeah.
He was 200 yards out. Not like that's a stretch, but
would you have found the guy if he was going to get in a plane and disappear with his transponder off and all that? Like,
I was basically between him and the Provo airport. I'd have been the one.
So you could have been running interference.
Shooting out the window as they're going onto the tarmac for the jet.
When your mag's empty, you just dump it on the road and shove a new one in.
Yeah, I dump it on the road and I actually have a reloader like the pros do, and they just reload it without even pulling it out of their belt.
Would you even want the hero status, or would you just disappear?
No, I just fucking put one right through the back of his head and then drive home.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's why you're standing at the gate.
My group of friends would just be like, oh man, he got away. And I'd be like, no, don't worry about it. And they would know.
I wrote an article this week. I'm going to read it real quick before we get into the second hour. The headline is, Jackson Goldstone's tight kit inspires riders to surgically fuse polyester to skin. Professional downhill racing has officially merged sport with body horror after Canadian rider Jackson Goldstone stormed to the 2025 UCI World Cup Championship in a kit so tight it looked like it had been poured onto him by a team of fetish club interns. Inspired by Goldstone's success, several World Cup riders are preparing for the 2026 season by grafting polyester and elastane, more commonly referred to as spandex, directly onto their bodies. The painful process involves shaving athletes head to toe and coating them in a bonding agent described by German bioengineer Hans von Grafenberg as a mixture of epoxy, Gorilla Glue, and Monster Energy. Polyester panels are stretched across their skin, then sealed in place with extreme heat. Elastane fibers are threaded into the muscle tissue, leaving racers with permanently elastic flesh. It's excruciating, said one French competitor, but you can't podium anymore unless you look like you were born inside of a condom. Medical crews have already reported rashes, burns, and the complete disintegration of several nipples. Officials say they won't ban the practice, noting no explicit rule against it, though they cautioned riders to avoid campfires. The material is highly flammable, the UCI said in a statement. Sponsors are already exploiting the shift, with SRAM announcing a permanent logo package allowing decals to be seared into the athlete's thighs during the grafting process. While riders insist it's purely performance-based, critics are unsure about the practice. I'm not so sure it's a good idea to surgically alter your body to look like a blow-up doll shrink-wrapped in sponsor logos, said a team member who wished to remain anonymous. But then again, I'm a mechanic, and I'm pretty much nothing makes me happy. Fans are expected to see the consequences at the first crash in Lourdes. Is it Lord or Lords?
Lord, I think.
Yeah, Lord,
Lord.
right? Unlike torn jerseys, crashes will now leave strips of steamy polyester skin hybrid on the track. They're basically mannequins with organs now, one medic said. As for performance gains, scientists say the graphs may save riders a few milliseconds per run. Riders say that it's worth looking like an alien who forgot his pants if it leads to slightly faster times.
If middle-aged dads in the area take up this practice, they're going to start fires when they walk around.
They have.
Yep.
They have taken it up if you go out to a crit race.
Dude, the funniest
Road
thing
bike race, you see them all over.
is
Their thighs are rubbing above the top feet.
when fat dads wear shorts and their shorts V up into their crotch, but the outside stays down low.
They're walking, it's just sucking up in there. It's that and like
it's like